everyone. This is Rotarian Sanjay Dugar, your host for the Rotary Sunday series, where we bring in experienced leaders sharing their thoughts, their ideas, the way they have done things in the past, so that you can excel in all that you do or lead. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to the episode, another new episode. And this time around, we have our miracle maker, PDG Suresh Hari. Welcome to you, sir. Thank you for taking the time and joining us in this series. You have been especially known for your focus on TRF and giving, which is something that is really, really important for Rotary. So what are your thoughts around why did you take that focus, and what's your advice for current leaders on this topic?
Quite an interesting subject, but my passion. It is the year 2013 when Badri was the governor. I stepped into the act of reaching out to people where I found my strength. Instead of just asking them for small, I used to ask for whatever big possible. That made miracle for me that year because I produced the first Arts Club Society member of the district. Badri didn't expect, nor I wanted to ask, because I reached out to him with an open thought, because I feel you ask, it is for the giver to decide what you want to give. Many times we fail to ask. The current leaders should imbibe this into their system, whether they like or not. Keep asking. There are many who are there out, they are shy not to give, but they are shy not being asked. Because if you ask only, they will give. Once you ask, they will give their heart out.
What a powerful message. I think it's important that as leaders, we ask, and that's the only way you will get something, and that's going to really change the world we are, and that's what Rotary stands for. So thank you for that piece of advice. If I build on that, once you get donors to support you, what do they expect?
This is one thing which many of us forget. See, we should not use donor as a sort of a tissue use and throw. That happens in many cases, because moment a donor gives, one is you have convinced him to give. Yes, he has given what he wanted to. But then, there is something which you have in yourself, a commitment to follow up with him. Convince him that what he has given has reached its ultimate beneficiary, and what he has been passionate about has been touched. This way, the miracle happens, because the person who is a one-time giver, who had thought of giving you small, will pull out bigger chunk of giving for you. You are going to gain by reaching out to him or her in explaining that what that has been given has been fully and adequately addressed in covering the community.
Absolutely, and that is so important, because if anyone gives, and if you go back and let them know that what they have given has been useful in the way they wanted it, obviously they'll be happy and their trust builds and then things happen. So that's a great thought. The other thing I was thinking was, there are different kinds of Rotary clubs. Some are really large clubs, lots of members, therefore a lot of reach, but they're also small clubs. So how do you see that being different, if any?
It is a fantastic thought process. Many of us think, that only the bigger chunk or the large corporates can give you, or the bigger businessman or who has more wealth to give. In our society, Indian ethos at least, many of us don't reveal our the wealth potential. There are many silent givers. We underestimate a giver. We do a face study, which invariably turns out to be wrong. Gone are the days when face is the index of the mind, because people are much more smarter today. You have to open your heart to everybody. Ask for the sky, no problem. But don't underestimate anybody. But as far as the clubs are concerned, which are smaller in nature, which have not been in the habit of giving, you need to cultivate them. Give them what they're giving is to make a change to the community around. Whatever, if they take out a single penny is also good enough. I tell them, give what you want. I won't ask you what you have to give. But give your heart out. What you give, let it come from your heart. So this will touch people who, if you see, I have found many a time, the leaders, end up going and seeking, they set their target, the higher level leaders fix their target. Once their target is fixed, they are marching towards that. When they are marching towards that, many a times they tumble onto the path of only going to the larger donors and getting their bigger chunk. You are sadly mistaken. We have found the smaller givings constitute major portion of the total giving in the foundation. I am talking in particular reference to the Rotary Foundation, which is almost more than 100-year-old foundation with a 4-star rating. What else you need to convince your customers? Your customer here is your donor. You have to treat them with respect. The customer is always right. Never falter on your approach with him. Be polite. Follow up. Even if he doesn't give, a thank you note to him will be appreciated by a non-giver to make him a giver.
Oh, that's nice. Converting a non-giver to a giver. And lots of pearls of wisdom around how a leader can tap funds and make Rotary really grow. The one other thing that I was possibly thinking about is, do you have a real life example? Because I remember some amazing incidents that happened during your term. Can you share a real story that got a great giver?
I have that's what I call the miracle maker. See, my miracle started during 2013, but that was the first Arts Club Society member in the form of Irfan Razak, to whom we approached with only, the governor said, take me to him because we are from the same fraternity industry. So I approached him. He said, Suresh, what brought you here? Of course, he always welcomed the DG with an open arm. So courteous, I tell you, such a human being is rare to find among such accomplished individual. God be with him in his life, in his success story. I just, before entering his chamber, I asked DG Badri then, what is the highest level of giving? He said, Arts Club Society. I didn't know what it is. I said, what does it mean? It's about $250,000. So when we were in his chamber, we had a cup of tea, and after the pleasantries, he asked me, Suresh, what do you want? I said, I want you to be Arts Club Society member. He said, what does that mean? Nothing, sir. It's only $250,000. Nothing? Yes, it's nothing for you, I told him. He didn't say anything, but he said, send the brochure and be done with that. After 6 months almost, it was over. Badri was tense. I would have got at least 10 lakhs for my conference. You ended up asking some $2.5 million, $250,000, and nothing has come. It was magical. I was going to Canada on a GSC program, Group Study Exchange program, and Badri was intense because once I go, I will come only after the journey is over. It will finish his term. That morning of my flight, Irfan called me personally. I said, Suresh, I did some commitment. Come today evening. My flight is at 1 o'clock. He told me to come at 5 o'clock. I went there, collected the check at the airport. I gave the check and went. What else you can't miracle? This is the first miracle. The second miracle is on Ravi Shankar Dakoju. He was the president, again from the same fraternity. I didn't expect him to throw money onto something, and that to 100 crores. $14.7 million. One of the evening after one of the pre-pets, he came and said, Hari, in your ear, I want to give 100 crores. I said, okay. I didn't show a surprise because I know he is capable of giving. But after that is a story everybody knows about it. To convert him into what was supposed to be a giving into a foundation giving and endowment which can perpetually come to community.
Absolutely amazing. So there you go, you know all these miracles and you've heard some amazing ideas. As Rotary leaders, go ahead, use this advice and create your impact. Thank you so much, PDG Suresh Hari. It is a pleasure having you and especially sharing your words of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish all the future leaders best of luck.